Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather, and today we will be talking about my March TBR. So I don't do monthly TBRs on my channel. The only times that I do TBRs is when I participate in readathons for that month. I have not participated in a readathon this year thus far. And so my brilliant idea was apparently to join 3. Who am I? Who do I think I am? And how am I going to accomplish all of these things? Who's to say what is going to happen in this month? Or any month? Or any time? Because the future is wild and unpredictable. Instead of talking about philosophical debates over time and the construct of living, we are going to be talking about all of the books I'm going to be reading for the BACKLIST Readathon, WITCHATHON, and Zodiacathon, all in the month of March. Let's go. Okay, so I am going to be looking down a bit on my laptop just so I can give you guys the proper information for all of these readathons, because what am I if not a source of knowledge for you all? The first readathon that I'm going to be participating in the month of March is the BACKLIST Readathon, which is going from March 9th to the 15th, and it is hosted by a number of individuals, a number of amazing creators. I'm sure I cannot remember to name all of them, but off of the top of my head, I know it's Chandler from Chandler Ainsley, Zoe from Zoe's Reads, Melanie from Mel to the Any, Gabby from Gabby's Reads is doing it as well, and maybe like 2 other people. Regardless, I will have everybody linked down below, and all of the information, all of the Twitter handles, all of the good stuff that you need to know if you also want to participate in these amazing readathons. The first challenge for the BACKLIST Readathon is to read the shortest book on your TBR. So for the BACKLIST Readathon, and I think kind of the whole point, well maybe not the whole point, but one of the main goals of this readathon is just to read as many books on your shelves as possible, which I tried to do for every single one of these readathons, so I'm very happy about that, and hopefully I can read these books and get them done. So the shortest book that I found on my TBR is Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. This was quite a hyped up romance contemporary of last year, and I know that it is a female kind of hate to love, irritation to love story following our main character, who is a Texas girl. I don't know why that's the detail that I remember. And she ends up having to room and board at college with the Scottish princess. I don't even know anything about this Scottish princess. I don't know who she is. I don't know how she is as a person, but I want to kiss a Scottish princess. And so this book is really going to be wish fulfillment for me. I just want to live vicariously through this main character so I can too kiss a Scottish princess. So that's where my mindset is going into this book. I am sure this is going to be a very welcoming read, especially as we're trying to cram in as many books as possible. It's a light, fluffy romance contemporary. I am not going to read the first book in this series. It's like the Royalty Prince Charming series, and the first one is Prince Charming. I don't need to read a hetero royal romance that I have been told is very mediocre. I would rather read something very gay and very cliche and very hallmarky. So I'm very excited for this. So the next challenge is to read a book that intimidates you, and I'm low-key cheating because I don't want to read a book that intimidates me when I'm doing 3 readathons in a month. I just don't want to put myself through that. I am going to pick Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo for this challenge. I have yet to read this book, hence why I'm putting it here. I read 6 of Crows last year, and I absolutely fell in love with it, and I was kind of stripped raw with emotions after reading 6 of Crows, and I needed a break before I read Crooked Kingdom. I didn't intend it to be this long of a break, but I am going to get to this one during this readathon. I am excited. Is that the right word? I'm not sure, but I'm ready to be traumatized. The next challenge is to read a backlist book that really excites you. For this one, I am going to pick A Cathedral of Myth and Bone by Kat Howard. This is an anthology of Kat Howard's feminist mythological stories and tales. I don't know if it's own world mythologies, I don't know if it's retellings, I don't know anything about this book. I just know that I saw this cover, which is absolutely beautiful. I heard the synopsis, and I have been wanting to read more anthologies lately. I really, really love the concept of this, and I'm very, very, very excited to get to this, hence why I'm picking this for this particular challenge. The next challenge is to read a diverse backlist book. Obviously for this challenge, Crooked Kingdom works, Her Royal Highness works, but I am going to pick The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. I absolutely loved The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh when I read it last year. It was so good. I really need to get to this book because I loved her writing, and I have heard such great things about this duology, and this is also my favorite cover of all time, so I should read the book that is my favorite cover of all time. I am definitely very excited for this. This is a 1001 Nights retelling where our main character has to tell her betrothed husband, I don't know the nature of their relationship in this particular book, she has to tell him a story every single night or else he will kill her. I don't know how that theme is going to play out in a YA series. I assume it's not going to be as dark as that sounds, but if it is, I mean, more the power to it. But I am very intrigued because although I have heard a lot of great things about this duology, just in general, people are like, oh my god, yeah, The Wrath and the Dawn, it's great. I haven't really heard many people say in detail why they love it. So I'm going in pretty blind with this one, and I am just very excited to get lost in Renee Ahdieh's writing again. The last challenge for the backlist readathon is to read a book with blue on the cover. Clearly I have that covered. Her Royal Highness is very blue. A Cathedral of Myth and Bone is also very blue, and even The Wrath and the Dawn is quite blue. That's more of a teal, but whatever. The next readathon that I will be participating in March is WITCHATHON, which runs from March 12th to the 19th. So again, overlap from backlist readathon. Do I know how I'm going to deal with that and compensate for it? No, I don't. But we're just gonna go with it, and you're just gonna mind your business. Thank you. This is hosted by Rhiannon from Crescent Moon Reads. It is a readathon centered around 4 of the 8 Sabbaths that witches celebrate normally, and I just really love Rhiannon, and I really love this readathon. I think it is so fun. I don't have any of the books with me physically, but I will be getting all of them from my library. So the first challenge for WITCHATHON is to read a book with water in the cover, the title, the themes, whatever, and I will be reading All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. This is the Cover Whores pick for the month of March. If you don't know, me and Carly's Books have a book club together where we read books with beautiful covers. Clearly, this is a very valid contender for that theme, and it is about our main character, Mora, and this region is made up of 7 different islands, and she is kind of the princess of the overarching government, and she has to set on a quest with a pirate in order to prove her worth to her people. And this has a very complex magic system. Each of the 7 islands have their own magic system. They're each represented by a different gemstone, so it's just very atmospheric. It's very drenched in aesthetics, which is my favorite. Obviously, very much water inspired. What screams more water and ocean than this book? I don't know, but if you have one in mind, please point me to it so I can add it to my TBR. The next challenge is to read a book with a trans main character or a non-binary character, and for this one I am going to be picking The Seep by, I think it's Chana Porter, if I'm not mistaken. It'll be right here. You will see it. This has been making its rounds on book Twitter lately. I actually heard about this for the first time at a book signing, and the girl girl next to me, we were talking, and I was like, oh, what's a recent book that you've read that you've really liked that you would recommend? And she actually recommended this book, and then like 2 weeks later, it's all over book Twitter. So I love that, and I really don't know anything about this except it involves aliens and the main character is trans. Like, I literally don't know anything about this book at all. It's quite short if I remember correctly. It's definitely out of my comfort zone genre-wise. I have no idea how I'm going to feel about this. I'm going in with quite low expectations despite the high praise, simply because of how out of my comfort zone it is. But I have just heard amazing things about this book, specifically from Sage Reads, which if you haven't subscribed to Sage, please do it. They are one of my favorite newer creators on this platform, and I love what they are doing here. And yeah, go subscribe to them. They're great. The next challenge is to read a book with survival in nature, and I don't have a book for this one. I am hoping that maybe The Seep counts for this challenge, but I really don't know because, again, I don't know anything about that book, and so I don't really like survival stories, so I don't want to just go out of my way to look for one when I'm not really... there's not one that's on my radar, so I'm just gonna kind of skip over this challenge, call it cheating, call it what you will. Oh my god. You know what? I just thought of a book right now that I think would work for this challenge. Maybe. Probably not. Should I put it on my TBR right now? Right here, right now? Let's do it. Let's get wild. I don't think it's a survival in nature story, but it's definitely a survival apocalyptic story, so I feel like it kind of works. Not really. I mean, it's better than not reading anything, right? What if I read Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse? Because I am going to Y'all West. If you're going to Y'all West, if you're going to be there, hi, hello, let's meet up. It would be a great time. And Rebecca Roanhorse is one of the authors that is going to be there. And I have had my eyes on this book because it's been compared to Percy Jackson so many times, but I do not like apocalyptic stories. But I have just heard so many people love this book, and I feel like I would be doing a disservice to myself if I didn't at least try this out. So this could be completely different than what Rhiannon was envisioning for this challenge, but I'm just gonna put it here. I would like to at least try it out to see if it's not for me. The next challenge, and bless Rhiannon for including this challenge, is to read a short novella. And I was going to count The Seep for this challenge, but like we've already established, I am very overly ambitious, and I am going to read the group book, The Black God's Drums. I didn't know that this was a shorter book, a shorter novella, until I watched Rhiannon's TBR video that just dropped the day I'm filming, and they mentioned that it was a novella, or a shorter book. So, love that. I never heard about this book until I saw B from Bewitched Shelves, another person. Go check them out. They're incredible. They are my fellow N.K. Jemisin Inheritance Trilogy stan, so go check their channel out. I saw that they did a blog post about this book, and they said that it mentioned gods and African gods. Yes, sign me the hell up. I would like to see it. And I think it's like piratey too, if I remember Rhiannon saying something like that. Maybe again, that's wish fulfillment, but I'm all here for this. Yes, I want to read this. And then finally, the last challenge is to read a graphic novel. Now, I don't know the distinction between graphic novels and comics. I think this is more called a comic than a graphic novel, but like, who cares? I am going to be rereading Sandman for this. I don't know how many volumes I am going to read of it because it is quite a lengthy run of a comic graphic novel. I have read this a few years ago, and it's one of my favorite comics of all time. It is just one of the best comics of all time in general, and I really want to reread it because I just want to, and I know there's a Netflix TV show coming out soon or something around those lines. Maybe it's Amazon Prime. Doesn't really matter. So I'm going to choose this for this challenge. Finally, the last readathon that I am going to be participating in March is Zodiacathon, which is hosted by Carrie from Carrie the Book Bell. And obviously you guys know I'm an astro ho. I love astrology, so this readathon is really perfect for me. And this one is running from March 19th to the 25th. So right after WITCHATHON ends, that one begins. This particular round of Zodiacathon is centered around your Lilith, which is kind of like your alter ego. It's like who you would be if you were a completely evil person and like a chaotic evil person. And how fun is that? So considering that theme, and themes are always my favorite part of readathons. If your readathon has a really good theme, I'm here for it. And so I wanted to pick darker toned books, and the challenges kind of reflect that in and of themselves, so love that. The first challenge is to read your Lilith challenge, and I have a Sagittarius Lilith, which I kind of hate so much because nothing else in my chart screams Sagittarius. I need all the stability in my life and comfort and normalcy, and my Sag Lilith is just like, no, you get none of that. And this challenge really reflects that. And my Capricorn moon is screaming because my Sag challenge is to read a book completely and utterly out of my comfort zone. I hate reading out of my comfort zone because you know what is a genre that is the only genre that is out of my comfort zone? Freaking sci-fi! I hate sci-fi so much. I can't stand it. Every single sci-fi book I have read, except for Sides, I have hated, and I just don't like it. You say space, I say leave. I can't stand space because 1, it scares the shit out of me, and 2, I'm not smart enough for it. So I don't like this challenge at all. Carrie, you will be hearing from my lawyers. But for this challenge, I will be reading Gideon and the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I did start this when it first came out, and as you can expect, I was confused as hell. So I don't know how this is going to go. But something that I have been complaining about countless times in the last few months is mushy gushy female romances. I know, as I say, Her Royal Highness, which is probably going to be mushy gushy, but like that's a contemporary. I guess I can handle it. I am just so tired of lesbians not having a sex drive because I could not relate. And I have heard really good things about this enemies to lovers, hate to love romance in this book. So I'm hoping, even though I won't understand what's going on in the background, that I will be fulfilled in the kissing romance department. That's what I am going into this book for. I know that probably isn't even close to the main focus of this book, and probably not something you should just read this book for, but that's what I'm gonna do. Are you gonna judge me? If you are, that's fine. Your priorities. The next challenge is to read a mostly black cover. Pretty much all of the books on my TBR fit that challenge for this particular readathon, but specifically I will be picking Stepsister by Jennifer Donnelly. Similarly to Rebecca Rowanhorse, Jennifer Donnelly is going to be at Y'all West, so I want to read as many books from as many authors that I'm already interested in their works before that festival. So if I really love the book, I can buy it, get them to sign it, meet them. You get the formula that I'm going through in my head. This is a Cinderella retelling. I really love fairy tale retellings. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I really enjoy them. I think they're really fun. So this one is going to be the pick that I choose. Hello, Editing Heather here. So I wanted to add another option to this challenge because I'm just continually adding books to this overly ambitious TBR anyways. I am going to add Wolf Song by TJ Klune, very similar in light of Jennifer Donnelly. TJ Klune is also going to be at Y'all West, and this has been heavily recommended by Chandler, and I just know it's a male werewolf romance, and I have always been wanting to get to it ever since I heard her praising it a lot, and so I would like to get to this before the festival, so I am going to add it here as well because I have not added enough books to this TBR. Now, for dark themes, I have 3 options. One of them is concrete, and that is Prosper's Demon. I just know this is a male-male romance between a priest and a demon. Yes. Sign me the hell up. No, I think it's an exorcist, not a priest, but same difference. I'm so excited for this. I wanted to read this on release day, but my library didn't have it. They now have it. Bless the gods for that. So excited for this. This is also a novella, so I know that I can get to this, and I'm very excited. The next option is Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. I love Chandler. I'm sure that's not a surprise. I'm sure we all love Chandler. She is just a beautiful yeehaw queen, and she goes hard for Penelope Douglas. I would like to try her out, because as Chandler will say every single time she kind of mentions Penelope Douglas, she is not the author for everybody. She writes very darker romances, very kind of blurred lines romances that not everybody is keen on. I don't know if I'm keen on that or not. I did read Captive Prince, and that one is another one that people kind of consider a blurred lines book, and I thought that one was okay, but I didn't really enjoy it that much for the romance, more like the world, because there isn't really a romance in the first book. But regardless, I feel like I can handle a darker romance, so I'm willing to try this out. Maybe it's not going to be for me. I really don't know. That's why I'm putting it on here tentatively, because I would like to try it out to see how I feel about it. And I think I may not be choosing the right series of hers to start out, but like, why not start with the wildest, you know, just to know. So this next book is such a random pick. I have no idea how it got on my Goodreads TBR, but clearly I saw it somewhere and added it, and I really don't know anything about this book. So we're gonna read the synopsis together, and that is Strange Practice by Vivian Shaw. This is a historical fantasy, paranormal fantasy. I'm just gonna read you the blurb here. It says, in this delightfully witty fantasy adventure, Dr. Greta Helsing, doctor to the undead, must defend London from both supernatural ailments and a bloodthirsty cult. That sounds amazing to me. The cover is very gothic. It's very medieval. I have a really good feeling about this book. If I'm being honest with myself, I'm probably not going to get to it during this readathon, but it's now definitely on my radar. If you have read this or heard anything about it, please let me know, because I don't know how I got here, but I'm excited and I'm happy that I did. Last two challenges. The next challenge is to read a book that scares me. I can definitely count Gideon and the Ninth for this one, because space is literally my biggest fear, so that could work. In the event that I don't finish Gideon and the Ninth, I will be picking up The Dark Wife. This is a female Hades and Persephone retelling. This is in this category because I'm terrified of Hades and Persephone retellings, because they all fucking suck. But this is female, so if it sucks, well, at least it's gay. And then finally, the last challenge is to read a book with a morally gray character. I'm sure all of these books are going to count for this challenge, but again, just to be ambitious, just to show that I am crazy, I am going to include Dark Dawn by J. Kristoff. This is the concluding book in the Nevernight trilogy. I'm sure you guys know all about it. It's about Mia Corvair training to be an assassin in order to seek revenge for her family's deaths, and I saw this and I was like, oh my god, this is going to be perfect, I'll read Dark Dawn. And then I looked at the text, and it is so tiny, and this is so I don't know how this is gonna work. I really don't. But it would be really nice if I got to this and I knocked out two series that I have been in the middle of, this and Crooked Kingdom. Like, I really would like to be satisfied in that way. Alright, that is going to do it for my March TBR. It was a long one. We have a lot of books. I don't know if I'm going to finish all these books, how I'm going to finish all these books. You'll have to just find out in my reading vlogs, in my wrap-ups. It's going to be a really fun time. If you really love my content, be sure to like and subscribe. If you really love my content and you want to support me and what I do here, I have my Amazon wishlist down below, my coffee, as well as my P.O. box. Let me know down below what you guys are planning on reading in March. If you are participating in any of the 3 readathons. If you are participating in any other readathons, let me know down below. I would love to hear it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!